Hi, this is Miss Wright, and I'm going to look at one paragraph from chapter 29 of Great Expectations. I'm choosing this paragraph because I think it's one of the most important paragraphs in the book, and especially in stage two. And I think that it really shows Pip's character arc, his development as a protagonist in the story. So let's go. Okay. She had adopted Estella. She had as good adopted me. And as you go through, you'll see that I've labeled some of the literary terms or syntactical devices. Here I've labeled anaphora, which is the she had, and epanellipsis, which is the adopted and adopted. But Pip starts. Pip has been called to Miss Havisham's home, Satis house, and he has been told that Estella is back from France and wants to see him. He, on his way there, he's thinking and basically fantasizing about his role in Estella's life, his role that has been preordained for him by Miss Havisham. So when it says she had adopted Estella and she had as good adopted me, this is Pip believing that Miss Havisham has reared him to eventually have Estella as his love, as his wife. And it could not fail to be her intention to bring us together. Now, I put false premise here because Pip has used a series of clues and has come up with the belief that Miss Havisham wants him to be with Estella. However, he doesn't actually have any facts to back that up. So this is all kind of circumstantial evidence that he's put together without any direct evidence from Miss Havisham, nothing in writing, nothing actually stated. She reserved it for me to restore the desolate house, admit the sunshine into the dark rooms, set the clocks a-going and the coal hearth a-blazing, tear down the cobwebs, destroy the vermin. And I put imagery here. The only reason I didn't put asyndeton is because there is a conjunction right here. So the imagery is very vivid that this desolate house, saddest house that has been left for rack and ruin. He is the one who's supposed to come and drive out the darkness, drive out the cobwebs, drive out the decay, and bring the house back to life again. This is what is going on in his mind. This is what he feels is his role based on his belief that Miss Havisham is the benefactor. In short, do all the shining deeds of the young knight of romance and marry the princess. So there's a great metaphor here where he sees himself as a knight and Estella as a princess. I put fantasy versus reality because he really has gone off into the world of fantasy here where he sees himself as the great hero and he's come to acquire the princess. It's something almost out of a child's book, a story that he might have read when he was learning to read as a young boy. I had stopped to look at the house as I passed, and its seared red brick walls, blocked windows, and strong green ivy clasping even the stacks of the chimneys with its twigs and tendons as if with sinewy old arms. And of course, I put personification there because the ivy looks like it's alive. It's alive, and that it has sinew like veins and muscles, and it's clasping and then of course imagery because it's all quite vivid, had made me a rich, attractive mystery. And I highlighted mystery here because this story has a series of mysteries that are created in stage one and stage two, only to be answered in stage 3. So you have to get to the last section of the book to find out the answers to many of the questions that are on your mind. If you wish, of which I was the hero. So here he sees himself as the hero of this great fantasy that's going on in his mind. Estella was the inspiration of it and the heart of it, of course. And there's epistrophe with the repeated it at the end of the clause. But though she had taken such strong possession of me, though my fancy and my hope were set upon her, though her influence on my boyish life and character had been all powerful, I did not even that romantic morning invest in her any attributes save those she possessed. So he's saying that although this woman has a strong hold on me emotionally and psychologically, I'm still able to see her for who she is, which is a kind of a contradiction to what he was saying before when it seemed like he was more invested in reality, fantasy than reality. Oh, I also meant to tell you, this is a periodic sentence. These are the kind of sentences we're going to try to learn to write. It has a series of clauses, and the main idea comes at the end of quite a long sentence. But we're going to try to write cumulative sentences and periodic sentences this year and do it correctly because we have to punctuate them so they're not run-ons. I mention this in this place of a fixed purpose because it is the clue by which I am to be followed into my poor labyrinth. I put mythological illusion because if you remember, um, Theseus and the Minotaur, and Theseus was a hero who had to go into the labyrinth and get to the center of it and slay the Minotaur. So I was wondering if this is a allusion to that, or also in England, the upper class, the gentry, during the 1800s and even into the 20th century, if they had extensive grounds, they would sometimes make a labyrinth, and people could walk in there and have little romantic privacy in there. Uh, and so I was wondering if it was mythological or if it was a reference to the other kind of labyrinth. According to my experience, the conventional notion of a lover cannot be always true. So he's saying the traditional image of what a lover is supposed to be can't always be true because the love he's feeling doesn't fall into any of that. The unqualified truth is that when I loved Estella with the love of a man, now this is important because before we know that he fell in love with her as a boy, as an 8-year-old boy. Now he's much older, 10 years older, and he's saying that this love that he has is not boyish anymore. This love is mature. This love is adult. And so I put characterization because now we're seeing he's acknowledging that he has grown, he's matured. Remember, this is a Bildungsroman, and it's a coming of age story. So he's come into his manhood, and he says, I still love her, but I love her not the way I used to when I was a boy. I love her with the love of a man. My eyes are wide open, and we're about to find that out. I loved her simply because I found her irresistible. Like, I cannot get over this woman. Once for all, I knew to my sorrow. So, sorrow is sadness. Often and often, if not always, that I loved her against reason, against promise, against peace, against hope, against happiness, against all discouragement that could be. You have all those against, that's anaphora. But more importantly, he's saying that everything in his mind and his body is telling him that this woman is not going to bring him peace, is not going to bring him happiness, is not going to bring him the idealistic love that he might want, and he doesn't care. Once for all, I loved her nonetheless because I knew it. And it had no more influence in restraining me. Like, I know that she's going to make my life miserable, but it doesn't curb me. It doesn't deter me from wanting her than if I had devoutly believed her to be human perfection. So he wants her just as much, knowing that she is imperfect as if she were perfect. And so Pip is going into the rest of this relationship, which is very problematic for him, with his eyes wide open. He's not, it's, he began this paragraph seemingly in a fantasy, wanting to be the hero. Stella is the princess. They're going to ride off into the sunset together and live happily ever after. By the end of the paragraph, a complete change has occurred because he says, wait a second. No, I see all of the misery that she might bring to my life, and I want her anyway. Maybe that's what true love is, when you can see the imperfection in a person and not care and want to be with them anyway. And that is what is going on here. This is, I put the theme of love, especially unrequited love, because Pip moves forward in his pursuit of Estella, knowing how much unhappiness she might bring to the rest of his days, either having rejected him, or even if she is with him, that Estella is kind of problematic or messed up, and so might he be also. Okay, so this is my close analysis of one paragraph in one chapter of our novel, Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. Okay, I hope this helps you, because you're going to have to find important passages and paragraphs that you want to delve into and analyze and discuss. Okay, have a great day. Please like this video, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.